Sometimes you have to give up to realize it wasn't worth fighting in that direction. I am a human being who has tasted hell and returned without any sweet memories. Life often hurts, but it hurts even more when you pretend. If you want to know who truly loves you, fail and see who is still there. There is no worse loneliness than false company. People go in circles searching for happiness when the truth is that it hides in the simple things. Work does not kill. What kills is the lack of freedom that sometimes comes with it. Live, laugh, and love your way. Society will always have something to criticize. The only difference between a drunkard and a poet is the way they face their own chaos. When you learn to laugh at your misfortunes, you rob them of the power to bring you down. The problem is that we only see beauty when we are about to lose it. Honesty is a double-edged sword. It frees you from lies, but it isolates you from those who live in them. Sometimes the only victory is deciding to get up from the game table. Love is a hellhound, yet still we all want to caress it. Courage does not always roar. Often it whispers, "I will try again tomorrow." The worst mistake is to believe that we cannot change the course of our miseries. Laziness caresses your shoulder, but passion pushes you to stand up. Dreams shatter when reality refuses to negotiate with them. Both the madman and the wise man fight against the world, but each chooses a different weapon. If we spend too much time contemplating the wound, we will never see the scar. I have known people who drowned in their own ego and didn't know how to swim to the shore of reason. Sometimes the best speech is silence well understood. Don't worry if you stumble over the same mistake. Next time, your fall will be better. Writing can be an escape. Living intensely is a frontal assault on monotony. Few realize that most freedom lies in your head, not in your pocket. Often, madness is the answer to a world that demands absurd sanity. Mediocrity is a plague that disguises itself as prudence. Misdirected anger destroys the one who feels it more than it does the one who provokes it. When love arrives, it doesn't ask if we are ready. It simply pushes the door open and enters. The art of living is failing gracefully and trying again without making too much noise. Neither praise nor ridicule changes who you are. They only reveal what others think of you. The day you get bored with yourself, you'll be in serious trouble. Nothing is sadder than a memory that is happier than the present. Embrace your darkness, and you will be able to walk in the light without fear. Before you boast about your successes, remember the days when no one believed in you, not even you. Drinking isn't the solution, but sometimes it helps to find the right questions. The worst kind of slavery is living in fear of the opinions of those who will never understand your truth. Beware of those who promise instant happiness. They often peddle mirages at a discount. Truth is a double whiskey, strong and fiery. Few have the courage to drink it. Self-pity is the cheapest ticket to perpetual misery. A wounded soul does not always heal, but it learns to live with its scars. When I am good, I am mediocre. When I am bad, I am authentic. Enduring a routine you despise is like committing suicide in installments. Freedom begins when you stop justifying who you are and why you are. Don't count your failures if you're going to ignore the lessons they taught you. A man's worth is measured by what he does when no one is watching. Sometimes the heart needs to cry to empty itself of everything that poisons it. Happiness is a wild cat. If you pet it poorly, it will scratch you and walk away. Love can be a promise broken from the start, yet we still throw ourselves into it. Being true to yourself does not always earn applause, but it does bring peace of mind. If freedom hurts, it is because you did not know how to bear its responsibility. Humor is the net that catches the broken pieces of sorrow and makes them bearable. Talent without discipline rots like fruit on the roadside. Never underestimate the power of a no given in time. Sometimes being brave is simply acting without considering the consequences. Other times, it is thinking too much and still acting. The truths that hurt you the most are the ones you need to hear the most. I am not a pessimist. I am an optimist with experience. Misunderstood pride is the broom that sweeps away your best opportunities. Learn to say goodbye to what no longer helps you grow. The void it leaves makes room for something new. If you're going to take a risk, risk it all, or don't call it a risk at all. People complain about loneliness, but they fear intimacy more than death. I don't write to please others. I write so as not to die drowned in my silence. Redemption. I hope you find it, but don't count on it coming to look for you. Love hurts, but not loving yourself hurts even more. Life is what happens while you try to avoid every blow, yet they still hit you. Failure is a cruel teacher, but at least it teaches. Of all lies, the worst is the one you tell yourself. If you wait for the perfect moment to act, you will die waiting. Blind faith in oneself can be the light that saves you or the fire that consumes you. Never be afraid of death. Be afraid of not having lived. I don't know if fate exists, but bad luck does, and often we provoke it. Silence is the loudest scream when words are no longer enough. Running from your demons only serves to train them so they chase you faster. Reality is a joke that no one fully understands, which is why we need art. The best lessons are learned when your ego is shattered into pieces. To evoke pity is to beg for crumbs of attention. They call it madness because normality gives them the false security of not questioning. Don't waste your life trying to fit into a mold made by others. There are days when simply breathing is a victory. If you don't say what you feel, you end up feeling what you don't say. Love is born without a manual and dies without explanation. Monotony is the kryptonite of free spirits. Memories corner you when your conscience is weak. He who does not learn from his solitude will hardly know how to share it. Sometimes you must remain silent, not out of cowardice, but out of wisdom. What makes you free may make you hated, but it is worth every second. No weapon in the world kills as much as indifference. If you cling to what destroys you, it's your fault, not the poison's. The streets know more truths than grand halls. Believing that love is enough to avoid regret is an illusion that will break your heart. Don't trust someone who proclaims their goodness. Virtue doesn't need marketing. Crying is the way the soul asks to be heard. The magic lies in continuing to dream even when you know that reality hurts. Entire wars have been fought over a simple "I'm sorry" not said in time. You get so used to people's hypocrisy that one day you have had enough and walk away. Cowardice appears every time you lie to yourself to justify your stagnation. The past is a ghost that only exists if you invite it into your present. Lying to yourself is the first step towards self-destruction. There is poetry in pain, but not everyone can discover it without drowning. The creative impulse is a desperate cry for freedom. If the plan is to live in fear, you might as well not be born. Love is not the absence of battles, it is the decision to keep fighting together. People love to judge, yet they are terrified of looking in the mirror. A cold beer at the end of the day can save you from madness, momentarily. Never underestimate someone who has already hit rock bottom. Sometimes, adversity polishes diamonds. You can burn your failures, but the smell of the smoke will follow you if you don't learn the lesson. Be a passionate idiot rather than a soulless genius. Living without regrets does not mean never making mistakes. It means accepting them and moving on. Genuine kindness does not need to be advertised with pretty phrases. When death comes for me, I hope to greet it with a glass of whiskey and a smile.